covering 7.3, showing how triangles are similar using the AA property. So again, the essential question is, how can two triangles be similar using the angle-angle property? So let me start showing where our thoughts have been so far. First off, congruent angles is what they both have in common. So I'm going to write them in the middle. They both have to have congruent angles. I heard same size, same shape. So I'm going to put same shape is actually what they both have to include. They both have to have the same shape. But congruent triangles were the same size, which was different than the similar triangles. So far, yeah, different symbols. If I wanted to say two triangles are similar, I would say triangle blah 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 is congruent to triangle blah blah blah. Ooh, and I shouldn't put those squiggles there because that might be different than what I want to say here. Triangle blah 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 is similar to triangle blah. So one other thing that similar triangles have is that they're proportional sides. So that means they also have a scale factor. So scale factors cannot be talked about if we don't have similar stuff. So the angle-angle similarity postulate, if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the two triangles are similar. The triangles could be congruent, but we at least definitely know they're similar. So let's decorate our pictures to what we see up there. So here's what we're doing. We're going to determine whether the triangles are similar. If they are, we're going to write a similarity statement. But we've got to determine if we've got congruent angles. So here's how angle-angle works. We definitely notice angle G, whoops, those are the 90 degrees. But we don't know, like we don't see the 61 matching the 29. But what if there was supposed to be 61 degrees over here? We've got to use the triangle rule. Inside this triangle, you've got to have 180 degrees. So to figure out what F might be, we've got to take 180 minus 90 minus 61, or I believe what we would have done is we would have added 90 and 61 first, and then took that number away from 180. Let's do that. Their sum becomes 151, but then we're going to take 180 minus 151. So this angle F is 29 degrees. Okay, so if this is 29 degrees, I notice that J is also 29 degrees. So I can say angle F is congruent to angle J. Both of those are the same measure. With this alone, the purpose of today is recognizing that you can determine two things are going to be similar, two triangles are going to be similar if you have two pairs of angles that are congruent. Once you have this mapped out, now you can do the similarity statement. I want to recap that information. So we pick a rhythm, H, G, F, and we notice that G and F is in our list portraying to L and J. So we've got to make sure wherever G is in the list, it's going to match L. So second letter, wherever F is in the list, it's going to match J. So let's go to the next one. We recognize, okay, what's congruent? Angle R on the left is congruent to angle R on the right. And then we've got to figure out, well, what else is there? Because obviously 50 does not match 45. We're going to have to use the 180 rule in one of the triangles. So 50 plus 90 gets us 140. If you took 180 minus 140, we're left with 40. So because this number and this number, so 50 didn't match the 45, this 40 didn't match the 45, we cannot say these are similar. So not similar. So in these overlapping triangles, we definitely see angle H in the smaller triangle congruent to angle J in the bigger triangle. They also, so in overlapping triangles, they always share another angle. And it's the one angle that isn't being cut up. So G is not only in the smaller triangle, G is also in the bigger triangle. And it doesn't change its shape. So angle G matches itself in the smaller triangle and in the bigger triangle. Anytime you see overlapping triangles, you've got similar triangles. So let's practice saying the similarity statement. We're going to pick a name and match it. What's nice about similar triangles is the similarity statement is a lot easier. So by angle-angle similarity, we can say these two guys are similar. And the next one, that's a 35 degrees. We can definitely see that the 90 degrees match each other. So because U is in the smaller triangle and in the bigger triangle, angle U is congruent to itself. Alright, so anytime directions say, write a similarity statement, that's what we're looking for. Let's go to the next example. Whoops! Never mind.